Why is it that online therapy is blowing up? People don't necessarily want to go into the office any longer. Although I will say this, we're seeing therapy itself is expanding. As Joe, you pointed out, those in that 18 to 24 cohort, they've seen engagement go from 10 to 20%.
Yep, 18 to 34 up quite a bit, but across the board up from 9.5% to like 13%, which is not nothing too.
So why? I mean, convenience is great, right? But that seems very surface level. And like any good therapist, we got to dive below the surface and figure out what is kind of the root psychological cause. And I happen to think about this. Convenience, yeah, if we were in marketing, we would call this lubricating the sale. Have you heard that before?
I have heard that
You've
before.
You've heard that, yeah.
But I bet you have some fancy analogy that will make it more digestible.
I'm glad you asked.
I didn't ask.
So therapists are kind of like contractors, right? They have to have new clients that are in their sales funnel. You've heard about the sales funnel. This is prospects, and then you set your meetings, and then you line people up, you develop packages, and then you close the deal. That's your sales funnel, right? And you're always trying to get more people into the sales funnel. And the same way, I think therapists have to do this because it is a business, right? And some of the things that all contractors have difficulty with is that they don't want to be salespeople. A great plumber wants to fix your plumbing. An electrician wants to wire your house. They don't necessarily want to do paperwork. They don't want to be prospecting. They don't want to be doing sales. But that's part of the gig, right?
You don't really want them selling either. You want them coming and fixing your drain or your clog or whatever you've got going on in your house.
So my dad worked. My dad's been a master electrician since he was 18. He's done it for more than 50 years. And Pops used to talk about how many great contractors would go into business for themselves and they would fail because they were really great at contracting, but not really great at the business side of this. Which is why I think you end up seeing a lot of contractors that start their own businesses, and then that gets to the point where they hire a business manager so that they can keep wiring houses, fixing plumbing, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Right? But either way, you have to have somebody else in that sales funnel. So if it's a plumber, the plumber knows once your sink is unclogged, they have to find somebody else that has issues if they want to keep food on the table.
Or
Gotta
break
find
something in your house.
I don't think they do that. So for plumbers, though, what's interesting is that the amount of piping laid doesn't really change much except for new construction. So we have some pretty high-profile plumbing, HVAC, electricians, some big companies out here, right?
Sure.
And they're trying to get as big a piece of the pie as possible because that pie is somewhat finite. So the plumber is competing against all the other plumbers. The HVAC is competing against all the other HVAC. And if there's too many plumbers in one area, the slice of that pie starts to shrink, and they have to find new customers for the sales funnel, and that gets harder and harder. So the plumber has to figure out how to be the top choice for anybody with a clog, right? That's where advertising comes in. Contact KTAR's account executives today and see how you can set your business apart. So what's happening with therapists, though, that was a nice plug, wasn't it?
It was very well done.
Trying to fill in our sales funnel. What's happening with therapists, though, is a little bit different because you have the number of people looking for therapy growing. So it's not like an HVAC where you have a finite number of air conditioners that can be serviced. You might have to replace one or two here or there. With therapy, all of a sudden you're seeing marked increases. So that means therapists who may have had 6 or 8 clients now all of a sudden have 15 or 20 or more. Right, exactly, right? So they're trying to keep that sales funnel full, but they also have to make sure that when people come seek them out, they have to be able to reply to those people. They have to get those people ready to go, and they have to get them on board. And how do they do that? How to make that as easy as possible? That's where online therapy makes things so much simpler. They're lubricating the sale. Just like the plumber wants to make sure that it's as easy as possible. You call me, I show up. Easy as possible. None of this, you call me, I'll call somebody else. We'll see if we can get some. None of that stuff, right? It's called lubricating the sale. You ever go into a place and they're not, like the cashier isn't there? You've got something in your hand.
Think about just about any department store these days.
Oh, great point. Yeah. Or I go into an electronics store and I want to buy a computer, or I want to look at a refrigerator. Or if I go to a furniture store and I want to buy a piece of furniture, sometimes it's annoying because you'll go into a furniture store and there's 10 people that ask you, "Can I help you find anything today?" it's irritating. Now, they're on commission, right? They want to be able to help you out. But I would say the only thing more irritating than that is not having somebody when you're ready to spend a lot of money.
Sure.
Right? So what happened is they created friction. They made it hard for you to buy, and so you don't spend your money. So then you think about somebody that was helpful. You didn't have a pushy salesperson, but a helpful one. They walk you through the product. They get you to the checkout. They arrange delivery, right? They make that process easy and enjoyable. They have lubricated the sale. It's frictionless. Think about Amazon, right? They took, I have to go to the store. I have to buy things. They said, no, you don't. You can sit at your computer. We'll have it to you in 2 days. Now we'll have it to you in an hour if you want it. Amazon makes buying things as easy as possible, and therapy is the same way. Some people want that personal contact, but for somebody like me, I don't like the traffic, I don't like the parking, I don't like sitting in the waiting room. You make it as simple and painless for me as possible. I'll see you next week.
Question for you.
Go ahead.
Because you've dealt with online therapy.
Yeah.
Which I agree with you. In 2024, we have this mindset that, like, hey, we want it now. Like you just said, we don't want to go and deal with the traffic and all of those things. I wonder from a therapist's mindset, though, like, did you ever ask the person who you were seeing, the guy who broke up, or gal, I guess I don't really know.
This guy.
So the guy who broke up with you.
It's Toby.
Toby.
Toby broke up with me.
Did you ever ask him, like, hey, is it tougher for you going online? Because as you mentioned, maybe Toby had 6 or 8 people before in person. If you double it to 12, is it tougher to deal with those additional, I'll just say, cases? Or those people and their issues?
I don't know for sure. We didn't get too deep into his business. Although
he broke up with you.
He was great because he would allow me
there.
to ask questions. I like that relationship with him.
Mm-hmm.
He left his office and he just went to working straight from home.
Okay.
So I know that he was saving money on overhead. And I know that was certainly beneficial.
You don't have to pay for the retail space.
Exactly. Yeah, no office space necessary. So he was doing it from a spare bedroom upstairs, which all of a sudden I know made things a lot easier for him. My aunt is a therapist, and she does almost everything online now. And one of the nice things for her, one of the beneficial things for her is that she can travel if she wants to. And so she can set up appointments. She can go, on vacation and still be able to see her clients. Doesn't have to take time off, but can travel so long as there's a solid internet connection. Yeah, I do know that there's some benefits to the clinicians.
I definitely think there are. I just wonder when you reach that point of, is the right term, diminished returns? Of you hit that point of, whoa, I went from this amount of people that I could take care of to now I've got this many people. And while for any individual, it might be great, but if you're going appointment, one after the other, does it get to that point where it's like, whoa, this is a little too much? And I don't think in general we've reached that yet, but.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a therapist, but I don't know. I don't think so, but I don't know.
Thanks for watching The Chris and Joe Show. Click to see more from Chris and Joe and tap the button in the middle to subscribe to KTAR News.